video. Who knows where it's going. I have this idea, this vision, that, there's sort of an easy diagram to everything, right? It's sort of like the physics thing and the economy thing, and everything can be sort of reductionized. You go down to it and you try to find out the mechanism, and you say, what is it? What is, this guy, he has, nowadays there's a cliche that actually means something, but this idea of, what is it? What is its nature? And that's sort of a thing to look at, but these people do it always in some romantic sense rather than any kind of real sense. They don't really reduce it. And so they don't get the big picture, because they're reducing it through a personal microscope rather than a scientific microscope, in a kind of way, if you know what I mean. It's the rose-colored glasses, and I say that. The glib, saturated brain of the nihilist, the egomaniacal, crazy person who thinks, hey, I got it right because I'm winning. So therefore I'm cool. Or something like that. And how big a smile you put on your face is somehow a measure. How deliriously happy you are, whistling while you work at the Nazi bomb factory, or whatever the thing is. You could just come up. You could be in a factory making dioxin pills, and you're just getting your paycheck. I guess a soldier might be a good example, right? All full of this patriotism and this honor code and all this kind of crap, and all they really are is paid assassins. That's all they are. Anyway, murder for money. So anyway, yeah, so there's a simple, stick figure of what a human being is, and so I guess I'll say something about that, but I guess I'll just play a little bit of this just so you get a feel of the whole video of this psychobabble. And all it is some appeal to your worst nature, in the sense that it's just an appeal to people's desire to be happy, rather than their desire to be meaningful and substantive, and to play a real game instead of a fantasy game. I mean, yeah, you can Teletubby your way through life, and you will get through life, but it won't be a real life. It'll just be silly. And yeah, if this is all that mattered, you know what I'm saying? If we were in a system controlled by some other force that we didn't have any power in, and it wasn't up to us, if we weren't the bus drivers here, I'd say go ahead and jerk off all you want. I mean, just be as debaucherous and hedonistic if you want, if you're a passenger. But we're really not passengers on Earth. It's all up to humans. Humans are the only hope. And if they're all going to be living in their little fantasy mumbo jumbo, I will be happy and that will be the definition of success. No, it's not the definition of a good life. And just sorry, it just isn't. But like I said, theoretically, we're just entertainment feeders. We feed on things to entertain senses that just need numbing. We're just looking for any kind of painkiller, any kind of desire killer, quencher, thirst quencher. So we're just like thirsty machines. And so yeah, theoretically, just stay stupid and drink piss, because yeah, it's easy. It's not complicated. Stay as uncomplicated as possible. If you can actually eat shit, yeah, eat shit. And I can't say that that's less real than watching a ballet. It's really not. Gratification is gratification, and if you can get gratified simply, fine. But again, we're really not talking about passengers. We're talking about pilots. You have a human brain, and human brains have potential. And if you're just going to piss it away eating shit, there's no point in having it. And I guess that's part of what he's saying, in a sense, is he's a brain killer. He's just saying, no, 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 no. Don't be human. Be an animal. Be a passenger. Don't use your driving capacity. Just use your bail-out, cop-out capacity. So anyway, let's play a little bit of this mumbo jumbo, psycho babble.
That's dealing with negative karma.
So guess what? He's dealing with negative karma. What that means is don't think about the bad stuff. Just think about the good stuff. So that's all he's basically saying. This is his gameplay with karma. Is anything that hurts you, anything that disturbs you, anything that might motivate you to correct anything in the world, kill it. And just stick with the focus of the game, which is ambition, ambition, ambition. I want, I want, I want. Just chase your wanty stuff.
And positive karma would be simply something like calming myself down, meditating, thinking about what I am, what my place is in the cosmos.
Which, in his case, okay, is some sort of fantasy Jedi story, I imagine.
What I'm supposed to do here in my life.
I think just eat cheese. I think that's what you've kind of basically said. Just eat cheese. Don't worry about where it comes from.
What it means to be human.
What it means to be human is find any rationalizations you can to evade responsibility and accountability.
Even understanding my own limitations.
My preposterous, made-up excuses to be as non-functional and unproductive as possible.
There are people who seem to hold the view that if you accept the fact that we are humans and we are imperfect and that we are what we are, you are somehow complicit in the negative. Unless you...
Yeah, well, you're complicit if, you know it exists. If you know it's bad to put dioxin in the Great Lakes and you get paid $50 and you do it. Yeah, that's right. I mean, you got to take some responsibility somewhere. And this whole attitude that you're not responsible for any of it. You didn't start the fire. Yeah, well, you're pouring gasoline on it, asshole. And you really can't just say, oh, no, 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 no. You are maintaining, okay? You're perpetuating. You're adding your little push on the handle on the grinder. So don't play this game like it's not my fault, I didn't do it. Yeah, you wanted what you wanted, and to get what you wanted, you stuck some nails in some fucking eyes.
You are thoroughly opposed to absolutely everything that is negative in this universe. You are complicit with it. That's insane.
So it's insane to be opposed to what's negative, and if you try to do it in some absolute sense, that's insane-er, let's just say, right? I don't know if can you really do it in an absolute sense. So it's wrong. You know, there's a point where you just have to give up. So you could just say, well, I'm going to stop at gang rape. Okay, so I'll be opposed to gang rape, but I'm not going to be bothered with that rape. You know, regular single rape, nah, it's too much trouble to worry about that. So I'll just worry about gang rape. I'll just worry about wars that involve more than 1 million deaths, or blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I think that's called just copping out, buddy. Alright, that's not a coping skill. Copping out is not a coping skill. It's copping out. It's failure.
Slippery slope, if you ask me.
So it's a slippery slope. Once you start thinking like you got to do something about something, that's just slippery slope. Well, I guess it is. That's right. Once you start recognizing that the bad ain't going to go away if everybody just sits around jerking off, well, that's the truth. If no one's driving the bus will crash into something and there'll be bloody horror and screaming in horror. So yeah, that's the truth. Ugh. Pathetic.
We are what we are.
Which means absolutely nothing, you know. So that's the part I'll go into.
Accumulation of experience and memory.
Yeah, accumulation of experience and memory, he said. We are what we are. You know, this is just such a messy kind of concept, right? Because what are we? Yeah, that's right. We're children who are psychologically, you know, turned into something. Some sort of neurotic, some sort of compulsive disorder. You know, what we chase and, you know, the style of what we chase. You know, our addictions are established. And some of that stuff you're just never going to be able to do anything about except carry it around like a big, like some sort of burden. You could argue that somebody could be psychologically perverted in their youth and then they end up being a pedophile. And now they got to carry this sick desire around with them for the rest of their life. You know, and the whole idea of the not only having to control their impulses, but you know, going through the world trying not to be outed in some way or trying not to be in some way persecuted. And it's just you know, it's such a horribly negative thing, and yet they didn't do anything to ask for it. They didn't create the problem. It's just something they have to live with. So we all have our little neuroses. We all have our compulsions. We all have our addictions. And then we just go through life trying to find out which ones are manageable, and hope that they don't, our addictions don't so consume us that we have no time to do anything productive. I mean, I could argue that I spent the first 30 years of my life getting about 10% efficiency out of my brain because my brain was occupied with compulsion. Anyway. Oh, shit.
The one where you know what you are. You have to know where you are. You have to know what your limitations are.
Yeah, all this stuff doesn't mean anything, right? Yeah, know what your limitations are in the sense that, yeah, you can't lift steamrollers with a single push. You can't stop traffic by just stepping out in the highway. You can't fly if you jump out of a window. Yeah, know your limitations, but don't use them as an excuse, as a cop-out. Don't say that because I can't fly, I can't do anything. And so I'm just going to do what I want to do. Because I can't do anything about any problem in the world. And thinking about it just gives me an upset stomach, so I can't be bothered with that. I mean, it just, you know, I'm sorry, this crap that you're here to be happy, and that's it. That's how you play the life game well, is just make sure you get your porridge, you get your silly smile on your face, and that's all. That's the only obligation that exists. It's just such a cop-out. It is such an insult to what the reality is when you really look at the world we live in and the mess it is in and the precarious danger that exists everywhere. This is China shop. This is, you know, some sort of badly built, whatever you want to call it, one of those things around in a building where you can look over the edge, a balcony, and there's too many people on it. We can see there's too many people on Earth. We can see there's lots of these impending doom problems. And you can't, if everybody just sits around and says, I'm not going to do anything about it, I'm just worried about me, well, that's just not going to get the job done. And you know it's not going to kill you. It's not, you see, knowing your limitations means to him, well, my limitation is as soon as it's inconvenient, fuck you. It's not about like it's going to kill him. It's about it's not convenient, right? So we're back to this inconvenient truth thing, and we can see quite obviously that's all it's about. We're killing people for convenience. That's the truth of the world we live in. And this asshole is saying, don't worry about it. It's not your problem. You didn't do it. It's not your fault. Don't worry about it. He even mocks in here, I don't know if we're going to get to it because I'm not going to play much of this, but he even mocks the idea, or as like a threat. You know, he mentions the golden rule. And I was like, I started laughing. I said, who could possibly find the golden rule oppressive? What in do unto others as you'd have others do unto you is oppressive? I mean, that's Nazi? That's fucking Stalin coming for me or something? That's the ultimate boogeyman? Do unto others as you have others do unto you. That's frightening? So yeah, don't tell me how you have to know your limitations. You're making your limitations. You're creating your limitations. And you're doing it on purpose. You're crippling your productivity by just saying, I'm not going to bother with this whole concept of productivity. I'm not even going to try. So that just sucks. Sorry, but that just sucks.
Bloody hard stuff, finding out where your limits are.
Yeah, well, I don't think, like I said, limits to what? Again, it's going to kill you? No, it's not going to kill you. It's going to be inconvenience. That's what it is. It's going to make you you're going to have to, maybe you'll have to live with cobwebs, or, you'll have to live with cold water, or you'll have to live with some other inconvenience, some unsatisfied desire.
Although they do say that's what youth is for, finding out where your limits are.
Yeah, well, whatever. Yeah, those are just, again, and sometimes you could just make the argument that the way we're finding out is another thing that needs to be fixed, right? Because too many people find out after they're paralyzed. And that really just doesn't do them any good, does it? I mean, there's no point in finding out after you're paralyzed that, oh shit, football was really a stupid reason to be paralyzed.
And once you've done that, you try to move towards the more positive.
Whatever. So he's not going to tell us what that more positive is, but it has nothing to do with fixing anything in the world or doing anything that means anything or anything like that. It just has to do with some sort of eating cheese, I suspect. So anyway, now I'm almost not in the mood, but I'm gonna do this thing. I don't even know if I need to draw it. I mean, just look at me like a stick figure. And you say, okay, let's just do an accounting. Let's just say, all of a sudden, I'm here on Earth. And let's just say, yeah, I have vocabulary, and I'm literate. Let's just pretend like him. I'm saying, okay, what do I have? I have all these memories, I have all this psychology, I have all this shit, and let's just throw all of it out. So I'm just here. And what do I observe? What do I see? What do I see happening? What do I see inside of me, even? And I guess the first thing after, let's say, a week of experience, I might say, well, I got this idea that, yeah, there's this pain thing. I can have horrible sensations and I can have pleasant sensations. So I'm doing this feeling thing. I'm a feeling thing. And the feelings have a qualitative element to them. There's good ones and bad ones. There's elevated or improved conscious states, comfortable and uncomfortable. So one could argue that it's all uncomfort and you're just trying to get comfortable. So it's like you might observe and say, well, if I theorize on that, if I reduce that down, well, what is it really? What is that mechanism, this feeling thing? Yeah, it's just basically you can get to this high point where you're totally comfortable. You're warm enough and everything's all kind of floaty and soft and you're sensual and everything's just kind of tingly and fun and blah blah blah, and everything else is a degrade of that. Everything else is some step down from there, and then you just want to get back to that little blissful, at peace with everything. The air is right, the smells are right, nothing in your body is harassed or annoyed or irritated. The muscles are all relaxed, the poop is pooped out, you're all comfortable. Yeah, and then everything else is just tension. Everything else is just some sort of hostility towards that comfort. Some sort of nagging, irritation. So we're irritable most of our life. And we're just seeking unirritability. And so what he's saying is okay, there's these ideas or thoughts that will irritate you. And so he's saying kill them. So if there's a thought that life is futile, or life is stupid, or the planet's heading for doom, yeah, just eliminate those understandings. Do not recognize them, and just tap dance, because you like tap dancing, and sometimes after you tap dance, you have that little bit of a, ooh, that was good feeling. So anyway, so we're feeling. We're feeling things, needy things. So the feelings create the need thing. We need the bliss. And basically there's this filtering thing, where certain stuff has to come in. It has to go through this psychology thing, and it'll give us bliss. But it has to be, the buttons have to be pushed in the right order. Okay, yeah, you have to do everything in the right order, first base, second base, third base, home. You have to do it in the right order for the bliss thing to happen. So there's some constraints on how this this activity happens in the world. You can't just meet anybody. She's got to be pretty, or she's got to be this, or she's got to be a certain height, or she's got to be a certain this, a certain that. Got to have certain interests. Got to have this. Got to have that. So that's the filter of our psychology that says, well, you just can't eat anything. You have to eat special English cheese because that's your horny. So anyway, but all you're doing is you have that wall of psychology that I'm addicted to football, so I have to watch the football soap opera. So instead of General Hospital doing it for you, watching reruns of 30-year-old soap operas, you have to watch the current games and the current heroes and the current, because you're addicted, and you have this fallacy that this matters somehow, that the real new game is the real game. Yeah. And no, it's the same game. Anyway, yeah, so that's it. We're just a little feeling monkey. So that's the little feeling blob in there, and that's the power thing. I mean, that's the biggest thing, right? You just say, wow, that's right there in front of me. But then you notice there's this other thing. What am I doing right now? I'm talking and I'm thinking. Thinking, that's it. I'm thinking. So I'm feeling, but I'm also thinking. And what the hell is that all about? So it's not the same as feeling, but thoughts can make you feel things. So you think of something scary, and it will scare you. It's maybe even terrify you. You realize, oh, it's Sunday, and I have to go to work tomorrow. And it'll just make you feel like shit. And all you did was recognize what day it was. Right? I mean, why is thinking or recognizing what day it is, why should that hurt me? Why should that be painful? But yeah, it's this thinking thing's able to see into the future, and it can see you getting your leg broken, metaphorically. You can see the tedium and the monotony and the nausea and the irritation and the pain. And so you're just like, oh, I don't want to do all that. And so, yeah, your body, the feeling thing, the psychology reacts to the thought and says, oh, because it's saying, you're scaring me. I don't want to do that. And then your thinking thing has to say to your psychology, it's all right. You see, if you do it, then maybe Saturday night we'll go on a date and we'll get to see some side boob and it'll all be all right. Or some other kind of crap. It offers it some comforting promise of a banana on Thursday. I'll give you a banana on Thursday and rub your nutsack and everything will be okay. So don't fret. It'll be all right. So your brain just plays a little game to calm down your psychology, blah, 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 blah. And this is the bullshit we do. Right? So we have this thinking thing. So let's back to the thinking thing. And let's reduce that, right? So the thinking thing can be used as just some thing that placates, right? They use the smart part to just placate the feeling part. Just make rationalizations for me. All right? Pretend I don't have a big nose. Pretend I don't have problems and I'm not an asshole and I'm not an idiot. No, just give me the boosty stuff. Come on, brain, feed me with the positive. Okay, well, there's no horrible stains on your sweater. You're doing really good today, Gary. You almost have hair. Yeah, you're doing okay. Well, it's kind of lame and flat, but it's okay, you're doing okay. So you end up just using your thoughts. They're just being controlled in a sense as just some sort of thing that you like a sneeze. You reflexively have a feeling, and then your thinking brain panics and it says, oh shit, I had a feeling, I gotta get rid of that. I gotta suppress that. I gotta control that. And so you start rationalizing and coming up with a bunch of bullshit to make you feel better. Oh, well, maybe we'll find a pot of leprechaun gold. And then your thinking brain says, but we don't believe in leprechauns. And then you'll say, you'll just make up some kind of crap to say somehow, well, there could be leprechauns. He even said in his video here, he said some could-be's. Reincarnation might be possible. Yeah, so that's all you do. You just go, reincarnation might be possible. Leprechaun gold might be possible. Or, well, maybe it'll be Ronald Reagan's gold. Maybe I'll dig up some gold that somebody else buried. It doesn't necessarily have to be leprechaun gold. There you go. I'll find somebody else's buried fortune. Yeah, that's it. So, but it's just all this thinking. For what purpose? Oh, to placate the psychology that needs boosting, and it needs to feel better, and it needs rationalization. So your brain is doing all this thinking just to create fantasy stories to placate your little feeling psychology. Now, what I'm also noticing is, being a person on planet Earth for a week, I might notice that there's all this technology and there's stuff and there's mechanical things, all kinds of stuff to learn. And so this thinking brain can apparently do all kinds of things. It can solve problems. Like, you have a problem, your store is 5 miles away and it's a long walk and it could be raining. Well, we solve the problem. We make a little car with wheels on it and a motor, and you can sit inside of it and listen to tunes and go to the store and not get wet and not get tired. And so that's really cool. We solve a problem. So you notice that this brain thing has potential to solve problems. If it devotes itself to things, it can come up with solutions. It can figure out how they wobbled rocks on Easter Island or something. It can do all kinds of things. And so this thinking thing is powerful, because you can have this ability to actually solve the problems of your psychology instead of being just using rationalizations. You might be able to actually use a truth to solve the problem. But, you know, a truth like recognizing that your feudal psychologies, and frankly, yeah, you serve absolutely no useful purpose, and you might as well be a mop, okay, with a penis. I'm just saying, you might as well just be any kind of stupid retard, okay, that you feed happy pills to, because that's all you're really doing, is trying to manufacture some sort of happy pill. But you just happen, because of your psychology has been perverted by culture and all this other stuff. You happen to be like that queen with the pee thing in the mattresses. You're just too fucking high maintenance. I mean, you need way too much Jedi adventure. Okay, yeah. I mean, you're not happy just eating popcorn watching some TV. No, 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 no. I have to travel the universe, and I have to meet Darth Vader, and I have to conquer him and beat him and do all this, and I have to, oh yeah, it's all fantasy, but it's still, that's my, you know, adventuring is, you know, I don't know. It's like people, you know, they say, oh, I gotta kiss a woman on the top of the Eiffel Tower, or, you know, some kind of, they just set up some kind of silly thing, some silly mountain to climb, and then they go plummet, and it's just fucking stupid. So anyway, so yeah, he's using his thinking thing just to come up with excuses to feed his little monkey more bananas, and to keep his monkey off of the, holy shit, we're on a bus with no driver and somebody ought to do something. So he's just trying to keep the monkey from recognizing he's on a bus, there's no fucking driver, the whole thing's heading for brick walls, and somebody probably should man up, put the old brain back in their brain, and take care of business. Be responsible for their existence. Try to maximize the productivity of their existence. It's like, even if you were on a bus, right? You could still theoretically understand. Let's see, I can masturbate, or I could try to cure cancer. What should I do? I can read fantasy novels, or I could read chemistry and biology books. See, you know, you have these choices to either make your brain more powerful as a productivity tool, or you can choose to make your brain into a hanky. Yeah, a snot rag. And these people will tell you, yes, just be the hanky. Yeah, just be an expression of bodily oozing. Don't bother with this thinking thing. Too dangerous. Slippery slope. Once you start thinking, well, then you're really in trouble. Yeah, once you put on your tragedy dar, you know, your I can see the horror radar. Yeah, you're gonna see a lot of shit. You're gonna see Godzilla coming. You're gonna see all kinds of shit on that radar, and it's gonna be rough. But I don't think it is gonna kill you. And even if it does kill you, it's still a good fight. So you died an honorable fight. You didn't die just, you know, hanky. Go for it. So he says he's riding a tiger. I love this. You know, that's part of his adventure story. So he's like riding the Teletubby is what he's really doing. He's riding the porridge Teletubby, and he calls it riding the tiger. I'm brave like the tiger. I'm big and strong, and I'm fighting the fight to eliminate all responsibility. Isn't that so much like a tiger? Just, yeah, I'm just going to evade everything. Yeah, I'm just going to evade all responsibility, all accountability. Yeah, I won't even accept do unto others as you would have others do unto you. No, I'm going to ride the tiger and reject that nonsense. Yeah, riding the tiger of preposterous, glib selfishness. And he calls that riding the tiger. But see, that's psychology. See, that's just gobbledygook. He's using his thinking brain to create, to make him feel like, yeah, I got my underoos on, I'm Power Man, I'm going to save the world by eating a lollipop. And it's just a silly fable. It's a silly story, right? I mean, yes, in fairy tales, maybe, eating a lollipop cures cancer. But in the real world, it doesn't work that way. Anyway, that's probably enough. But yeah, what we are is not complicated. Everybody wants to make this life thing really kind of complicated. This guy's making it simple, but he's making it simple in the stupid way of, you're just here to be happy, you're just here to be happy, you're just here to be happy, you're just here to be happy. And that's not. You're just here because of evolution. The point is you have the potential, okay, to be a hanky, or something beautifully, brilliantly productive. Those are your choices, okay? And you're not going to be productive indulging your psychology. You're going to be productive probably doing shit you don't want to do and grinding yourself through your life, absorbing information. Now, we know that people read the fantasy books and not the biology books because the fantasy's more fun. It feeds the psychology. And learning is work. You have to smash stuff against the wall inside your brain, and you have to manage the boxes, and you have to push that over there so you can fit this in. Fitting knowledge in your brain is hard work, because you have to restack everything and do all this, But indulging in sitting on a box and just eating a lollipop, yeah, that isn't any work. So that's why people do it. But shouldn't we really be saying, let's all be really good bus drivers? Let's not only drive the bus of our own life as best as we can, but let's do this thing of managing the mess we're in. And ultimately we're going to figure out that we're on a bus going absolutely nowhere. It's spinning around in circles and it's running over rabbits. It really is. When you really put the radar on, you're going to see, looking through the real telescopes and the microscopes, we are just caught up in something that is just so stupid, monstrously wasteful. And ultimately, there's probably not going to be a happily ever after. But there isn't going to be one anyway. So you really should be able to deal with that. Your life will not end happily ever after. And the story of mankind will not be happily ever after. And all you can really hope for is to minimize the losses, right? To die, to end your existence as gracefully as possible. To go through your life gracefully, productively, and without waste. And the same goes for the existence of the human race. Give it the dignity of a graceful exit. But anyway, that really is enough. So, till next time. And such.